Vacuum robots these days are becoming more alike, and there's rarely a brand that really brings innovation into the space. That's where Narwal comes into play. This relatively new brand delivers a direly needed fresh wind of innovations into this otherwise stale product environment. So let's find out if they can be the iPhone versus Nokia of the vacuum robot world. What up guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Eddie Bear. As I said, real innovation is hard to find when it comes to smart household helpers like vacuum robots. And it seems like with Narwal, a real competitor entered the ring that gives other manufacturers like Ecovacs and Roborock a run for their money with their feature-rich and innovation-packed flagships. Of course, I should point out that Narwal was kind enough to sponsor this video and supply me with a very early unit of the Freo X Ultra vacuum robot. Thank you for Narwal for making this video possible. And with this out of the way, let's see what you get with the robot. It hasn't been long since I had a huge box on this unboxing table, and the Narwal almost is bigger than the last one. So if your back isn't as good as it used to be, make sure to lift from your knees. The first thing you will encounter underneath the user manual is the vacuum robot itself, but we'll take a closer look at this one in a minute. And before you move on to the next layer within the box, make sure to remove the side brushes, which are color coded so you know which one goes to the left and which one goes to the right. Also don't overlook the power cord, which is tucked away on the side of this layer. And underneath another very thick styrofoam layer, you can finally find the base station of the Freo X Ultra. Underneath the station's very satisfying soft open and close lid, you can find a quick start guide for the Freo X Ultra. With the help of the touchscreen on the top of the lid, you can control pretty much all the everyday settings of the vacuum robot. However, I will cover that later in the video. With the lid open, you get easy access to the dirty and clean water tanks. If you take a close look into the dirty water tank, you will notice that something's hiding inside of it. Narwal is kind enough to supply every customer with one free flask of cleaning detergent. I know having cleaning detergent is nothing special these days, but having the luxury of getting the cleaning detergent directly injected into your clean water, that's a whole different story. In the, let's call it, garage of the base station, you can find another styrofoam inlay. This one contains a regular dustbin. This one is very useful if you run out of additional self-containing dustbins. Oh, you never heard of self-containing dustbins? Well, that might be because Narwal came up with it. Essentially, after cleaning, the Freo X Ultra is compressing the contents of the dustbin, therefore all the hair and whatever is in there is taking up way less space. This way you no longer need a massive central dustbin or dust bag in order to store all the dirt after all the cleaning cycles, and that also leads to a way smaller base station compared to other manufacturers. Another feature that is unique to Narwal is the removable cleaning tray on the bottom of the cleaning station. After extended usage, this area of a vacuum robot always looks filthy and it sometimes needs a proper cleaning. With other manufacturers, you will have to get on your knees and scrub all that stuff out of there, and with Narwal, it's super easy. You just remove it, take it to the sink and give it a good rub. Now it's finally time to focus on the Freo X Ultra itself. The vacuum robot itself comes also in a very puristic high gloss finish like the base station does, and to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of high gloss finishes because they're fingerprint magnets, but that's just my opinion. But I do highly appreciate that the Narwal Freo X Ultra comes with 3 self-containing dustbins from the get-go. Of course, depending on how much dirt it will find within your home and also how often you let it run, it should be enough for roughly 21 weeks. That's almost half a year without the need to buy new dustbins. And of course the Freo X Ultra also comes with side brushes and they are color coded. So the red or orange, well, you decide which color it is, goes onto the orange or red socket, and of course the purple brush goes into the purple socket. By the way, the Mainbrush of the Narwal Freo X Ultra came as an absolute surprise to me, because there is a marketing promise that there is no possibility of Tangle tear with this newly designed Mainbrush. And I've been using this vacuum robot for over 4 weeks now, and I did not have a single strain of Tangle hair on it. No matter whether it was long hair or curly hair, nothing. So that is absolutely impressive. And of course the mopping system also received a massive upgrade. It can automatically detect whether it's on hardwood floors or on tiles. and depending on the surface it will adjust the pressure and also how wet the mops will be. And by the way, it can now apply up to 12 newtons of pressure in order to get rid of all the nasty stains. Naturally, while it's on carpets or already cleaned areas, it can lift the mops up to 12 millimeters. Something that also is very noteworthy on the Narwal Freo X Ultra are the new sensors. Not only is the robot vacuum very flexible when it comes to changes in its environment, it also barely ever bumps into any objects, and on top of that, it is getting super close to them in order to get the highest possible cleaning performance. In order to achieve these results with other brands, I sometimes even had to disable their assistance so that they would almost bump into other objects. The only Achilles heel of the Freo X Ultra are lying around cables, so make sure to clean those up before you let it run. As you can see, I was not kidding when I told you that the Narwal Freo X Ultra comes with numerous innovations. However, good hardware is nothing without great software. So let me show you what their app has in store for you and how you set it up. After you place the base station, just manually push the robot into the station until you hear a beep. Now head on over to the Narwal Freo app. Select Add Device and select the Narwal Freo X Ultra. Accept the privacy policy and enable location services and Bluetooth. Now it's time to add your robot to the Wi-Fi. Select the SSID you want to use and enter your password. Also make sure that you need to have 2.4 GHz enabled. Now your robot is connected and it's time for an initial mapping. For this, enter the device homepage. While the Freo X Ultra is getting ready to map your home, you will be presented with a questionnaire. Depending on your answers, certain settings will be either disabled or enabled in order to increase cleaning performance. However, don't worry, if you choose something wrong, you can always readjust these settings later. According to the app, I roughly have 60 square meters of cleanable surface area, and it roughly took about 8.5 minutes in order to complete the whole process. Considering how fast this task was, it's impressive how many details the sensors were able to pick up on. And if you want to, you can tweak certain settings on the map by opening the map editor. Let's begin by optimizing our room 1, which obviously is not a single room, so let's split it apart in multiple sections. Honestly, by now all the manufacturers have the option to manage your rooms this way, but even though it seems like a simple task to split a room in two, most of the manufacturers seem to have an issue by dividing rooms this way. So I was happily surprised that with Narwal, it just works out of the box. So splitting and merging rooms normally takes me roughly 10 minutes until it just barely looks like my apartment or where you normally would expect the door. This time it literally took me a minute to rearrange the whole apartment so it actually reflects my floor plan. And to make things a little bit more relatable, you can also name every room super easy and you can define their purpose. But more importantly, you also get the ability to choose floor material. And this is not something that's just an optical thing within the app. This actually affects the cleaning performance of the robot. So if you're choosing a hardwood floor, you will get a downward pressure of 7 newtons when it's cleaning this area, and it will use less moisture in order to clean the surface. And if you choose tile flooring, your rotating mops will apply 12 newtons of pressure to the floor, and they will be also more damp compared to the hardwood floor option. To make sure that your house stays squeaky clean, I would suggest to set up scheduled tasks. When you switch to the Task tab, you can select between Quick Task and Scheduled Tasks. When creating a quick task, you can select the rooms that you want to be cleaned, you can select the order that you want them to be cleaned in, and even the way that they are being cleaned. So you can select between Vacuum and Mop, Vacuum then Mop, Vacuum, or just Mop. If Freo mode is enabled, the Narwal will decide for itself when a room is actually fully cleaned. So whenever the Narwal is returning to the base station in order to clean its mops, it will measure the dirt particles within the dirty water to decide whether that room has been fully cleaned. If the dirt levels in the water are too high, it will clean the mopping pads and re-mop that area until it's considered clean. And all the settings we just talked about can also be applied to scheduled tasks. These operations can be scheduled for either a date or a certain day of the week. So let's say you're coming home from vacation at a certain date, you can set this date in the future and it will clean the house before you arrive at home. With all these tasks available to you, you can also check the History tab in order to check on the robot whether it actually completed the cleaning cycles. And if you go into the history log, you can even get details about every single cleaning cycle. There you meticulously can check which area has been cleaned and which one was left out due to some stuff on the floor. And if you switch into the dirt view, you can even see which areas were more dirty than the others. So enough talk about features and settings, it's time to find out how well the Narwal Freo X Ultra cleans. The Narwal is one of my favorite robots when it comes to the whole edge cleaning process. It is getting really close to all the objects and all the walls in my apartment, and it somehow always manages to keep a safe enough distance, especially to delicate objects. And I love the fact that the Narwal is also never afraid to go into all the tight spaces, but I do admit if the body of the robot would be a little bit smaller, it would fit into more of the spacings I have, at least in my home. Another thing I love about the Narwal Freo X Ultra is its noise level. I rarely encountered a vacuum robot that is so quiet. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't do it justice, but have a listen for yourself. So what's your opinion? How does the Narwal Freo X sound? Let me know in the comments below. And since we are already mopping, I'm absolutely pleased with the mopping results this robot produces. First it does the outlines of the cleanable area, and then it does the inside by going up and down. I especially love the fact that it will always overlap the inside cleaning area with the outside. So it's not just cleaning the outside once and then overlapping inside, it will also overlap the inside cleaning part with the brim. When it comes to daily usage, also the touchscreen controls on top of the base station are amazing. You can either enable or disable the Freo Mind, and you can send the robot home, you can clean the mops with its help, and you can also just start the cleaning cycle if you want to. You can almost fully operate the Narwal Freo X Ultra without the need of a smartphone. This is a huge difference to other brands. With all these innovations like the Tangle-free brush, the self-contained dustbin, the automatic administration of cleaning detergent to the clean water tank, these features make the Narwal Freo X Ultra an absolute low-maintenance beast. Vacuum robots these days are already low maintenance, but the Narwal certainly takes the crown for lowest possible maintenance. So what's your favorite new feature of the Freo X Ultra? Let me know. With that said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.